Totem Pole Nation, welcome back here. TGIF, Grind Includes Friday. We are in studio with my main man in VA, Coach Lambo. This is Gangsta of Love by the Ghetto Boys. Talking about this one the other day. Now at Sweet Home, Alabama. We had Ghetto Boys annihilate that beat. Ooh, I love it. We are going to be joined here shortly by Coach T. He is hugging the pillow as we speak. He's actually acting like he's on vacation. What is wrong? No days off, Coach T. No days off.
that old man should be sleeping in. That old man be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning anyway.
That's the thing. Yeah, he can't sit there and tell me he's just waking up when I've checked his Twitter feed. He's already liked 15 different things. He's retweeted so many different coaches and stuff like that. We're on to you, Coach Taylor. We're on to you. Just kidding, man. That guy, I love that dude, man. He's such a powerhouse, man. I wonder how many gears that guy's got, man. He just it's full throttle, full go, a lot of coffee. And I was talking with you, man. You're not a coffee drinker. Tell them what your go-go juice is.
My go-go juice when I was around Coach Taylor and whatnot, my go-go juice was Gatorade, and then now my go-go juice now would be Baja Blast. That's
Baja.
Yes.
Oh yeah, man.
Baja Blast.
The Baja Blast. That is good stuff, man. I back in the day, you wanted something to eat, you go to Taco Bell, you'd spend $10 and man, you get the biggest drink in the world, you get 15 tacos and you get you that Baja Blast. Nowadays you get 5 tacos, cost you $25 and you get, the biggest drink in the world. But yeah, man, I had to cut that stuff out, man. Fast food, it is no bueno.
It's dangerous. I still have a fast food problem to this day, but I think at the same time, I think the only thing that saves me is going to the gym and playing basketball 3-4 times a week. That's the only time that's saving me right now.
Amen, man. Those are good things that you want to. You always want to stay active. That was one thing, Coach. We just got back from a Alaskan trip, and to get there and get back, it was add on a couple days, and then the whole July 4th. Man, I'm telling you, I felt like I done drank my body weight every single day, in tequila, in seltzers, in Coronas, stuff like that, man. And so now I'm a few days without having that stuff. Man, my body is just like, wow, this is what I want you back to. You don't need to be doing that stuff, man. The body is definitely feeling a lot better. I'm already about 5 pounds down from what I was, 2 days ago. So, yeah, man, it's just trying to get back on that path. I think that's the key to things is, you have certain rituals, certain little tricks of the trade that you do on a daily basis. And that's what can help you. But yeah, man, balling, man, that's such a great exercise, man. I wish I could do basketball down here. I don't know a good indoor gym. And it's just, Coach, it is so hot here. My glasses are fogged up, as we're talking, me just being outside right now.
Well, I mean, I bet you got a nice. It's on. See, it's not about being hot though. You got the nice view in the background. I mean, you got a nice pool. You got something that you can meditate, something that you can relax on. So, you have a lot of things that you can be thankful. You have a lot of things you can be thankful for because in this topic of life lessons today, is trust yourself. So, what you went through from as a kid to a teenager to now. The three steps or how many other steps you take to get to your level that you at right now, all this that you have in the background, you and your wife were able to trust yourself. That's what the topic is today.
Amen. We go through difficult things. We're always learning. We're always going to fail. That's the thing, Coach Lambo, man, you are human. You are human. As much as you feel like a machine sometimes, Coach Taylor too. As much as you feel like a machine sometimes, man, you are human. You might have to sleep in on vacation. Holy cow. Man.
I know. I don't know about sleeping in on vacation, but that man, Coach Taylor, he run around 24/7. Like he'll wake up at 5 in the morning on Sunday. I'm like, you ain't doing nothing on a Sunday. What you getting up at 5 in the morning for on a Sunday?
Man, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Takes a lot of coffee, I believe, to get that thing going and everything. But so what's going on in the world of sports right now, man? I don't know if you saw it, but like some news broke out about Kim Kardashian and Tom Brady, man. Let me get some insight on that from the Lambo.
Well, the Kim Kardashian Tom Brady thing, I don't think it's shocking because the Kardashians mess with everybody anyway. One of the Kardashians messed with Pete Davidson. I think the breakup is gone. One of them
Right.
messed with Kanye West. We already know about that. Tom Brady is still going through a divorce with Giselle Bundchen. So he's a free single lady. I mean, free single man. He does what he wants. The Kim Kardashian thing. I don't think it's surprising if they did anything or not. But I mean, Tom Brady is trying to find, he's 45, 46 years old. I think he'll be 46 on August 3rd and whatnot. So I think he's going to try to find his way to be happy. He's already spending time with his kids. He's a part minority owner for the Las Vegas Raiders this year. And in 2024, he's going to be broadcasting for Fox for like a $375 million deal. So I guess he's trying to find a way to get the balance of I want to spend time with my kids. I'm retired from football. I'm not worried about winning Super Bowls anymore. And a little freedom. I don't think he's gonna get married again anytime soon. He's at an age where his kids are, about to be in high school. I think he has three kids. I think one of them, his name is Jack. The whole thing where he kissed his son on the lips. We're not gonna get into that, but I I think his kids being a certain age, I don't think he's gonna get married anytime soon. So I would think to the point Tom Brady can mess with whoever he wants to mess with, and the Kardashians are going to be the Kardashians. So it's not really much to it. It could happen. It didn't happen. Um, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what happened to it. So I mean, it probably already went down. It's just not surprising.
Yeah, man, without a doubt. He went. I had a good friend of mine said he went from a stick to thick. Yeah, he's got a girl with some got some curves on her now. So and I can't blame him for that. I can't blame him for switching it up like that, going from the model. Who knows? Maybe he'll put a couple lbs on now. What's the guy been eating, like grass sandwiches and stuff like that?
Well, Tom Brady is a very healthy person. He got his TB12 method and whatnot. So he's a vegetarian as well. So he always kept his body in shape when he played for 23 seasons in the NFL. He drinks beer, but he don't drink beer to the all season. So that's the difference between him and Big Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Fame quarterback as well, but the last 4 or 5 years, Big Ben, he was too fat and too big, and he never kept himself in shape. He never really worked out like he was supposed to. He didn't eat right. So Tom Brady is one of why he's the best quarterback in the NFL because of his diet. He kept his diet in the correct shape. And when it comes to playing sports, it's all about diet. You're not a kid where you can sit here and eat whatever you want
Yeah.
and go play high school football. That's a different era. Because you're young and your metabolism is high. But when you get to a certain age, you're going to gain some weight. So Tom Brady is still a vegetarian to this day, and his products work.
Yeah, man. The proof is in the pudding, man. I mean, to be in the league, to basically have three careers, in the NFL over 20 years. He split up his career and you split it into threes, and he has three legitimate Hall of Fame, careers. It is amazing, and a lot of it is, his principles, the daily things that he's doing. So right now, I just saw where the Heisman odds came out, You've got Caleb Williams as the favorite, then Jordan Travis of Florida State. Then
Oh
you got
yes.
Derek May of North Carolina. Michael Penix and Bo Nix are all at 1,600 odds. Jordan Travis at 1,400, and then Caleb Williams is at plus 550 as your odds on the Heisman. I did get to see some of your podcast yesterday on USC. Man, they do. They seem to be like they've reloaded. You know, they've got a lot of talent on that offense and returning the Heisman. Scheduling wise, do they have any outside conference games where they're playing, anybody big? You know, it seems like it was Utah that really gave those guys fits last year.
So Utah is in the conference. I think when I looked through the outer schedule of
Mm-hmm.
conference, it's Notre Dame. Notre Dame's always been a good team
Oh, wow,
defensively.
good.
Offensively, I'm a Notre Dame fan as well, along with a Clemson fan. So Notre Dame has a quarterback transfer named Sam Hartman. He transferred from Wake Forest.
Right,
So
right.
that's going to be huge on the offensive side. But the defense, you have a second-year head coach in Marcus Freeman, who was a defensive coordinator before Brian Kelly left from Notre Dame to LSU. And in his first year, Notre Dame went 9-4 after starting off the season 0-2 when they lost to Ohio State in Marshall. So I think the matchup between USC and Notre Dame and the atmosphere is going to be at Notre Dame. I
Wow.
think it's going to be pretty tough. USC always has a great offense, like I said. The only problem is their defense. Now, defense, when Utah beat them twice last year, and they beat them, the first time they beat them was a close game. The second time they beat them in the Pac-12 championship, it was a blowout. USC has trouble being physical with running the football. They cannot stop the run. And with that scenario, when they play Notre Dame sometime this season, Notre Dame is good at running the football when they have to run the ball. They have big offensive linemen. Notre Dame is known for having offensive linemen at 6'5", 300, 315 pounds. They're going to just run up this throat. I mean, Notre Dame is a team you have to watch out for when it comes to USC. Like I said, USC, they always have good offense, good wide receivers. Caleb Williams is probably going to win the Heisman again because, it's all about favoritism. It's all about popularity because, USC and Lincoln Riley, the atmosphere that he brought from Oklahoma with, he worked with Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, all those quarterbacks as well. Jalen Hurts was part of that as well. So, I mean, I think USC has a good chance to be successful. But like I said, they're going to struggle with Utah. They're going to probably struggle with Notre Dame, depending on if they lose the week before that. And I think with the Heisman's, like you said, I think Jordan Travis is definitely slept on because you're talking about an atmosphere that Florida State hasn't been good since the Jimbo Fisher era. They hadn't been good since they had the quarterback in Francois and whatnot. And then when Jimbo Fisher went to Texas A&M, Florida State was up and down. They had head coach Willie Taggart for like 2 years. Then he got fired. And then now you have a guy named Mike Norvell, who was, I think, the previous coach for Memphis before Fuente went to Virginia Tech. So Florida State surprised a lot of people last year. And the game to watch last year, if folks was watching, was that Florida State LSU. They brought fire. They brought intensity. Their defense, and I like their bench. Their bench brought in a lot of energy. Their special teams, everything. Jordan Travis continues to improve despite the struggles that Florida State had the past 2 years. So Mike Norvell is going to be in his fourth year. And like I said, I see Florida State winning 10 plus games. And don't be surprised if Jordan Travis might win the Heisman. He might win the Heisman, but see, Heisman's going to come down to numbers. And I think Caleb Williams is going to have better numbers than Jordan Travis. Drake May from UNC is another guy to watch out for. He's going to have better numbers than him. Bo Nix in Oregon, that's a good team. You're talking about a second-year head coach in Dan Lanning, who was the previous defensive coordinator for Georgia. I think before they won a national championship, or I think he left right before or after. Oregon's always been explosive. They've been trying to find that mojo offense back, after, Mario Cristobal went to Miami. So that's there. Michael Phoenix was a very surprise. I forgot who their coach was. I think he's in his second year as well. But I think out of all those quarterbacks, as you said, all four of those quarterbacks are just going to have better numbers than, Jordan Travis. I mean, it's just facts because it's going to come down to the opponents you play and the conference you're in. So my Heisman want Jordan Travis to win it. Yes, I think he's a sleeper. The only reason why I say Drake may not win it is because he'll start off hot, and UNC started off very good last year, but then they struggled towards the end. Their defense folded. Their offensive play calling was out of sequence towards the end. Matt Brown is an older coach, so I think he ended up getting a new OC this year. So we'll see about those quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, the Heisman and stuff is nice. But I want to see teams that are going to compete for a national championship. Now that you mentioned that, Coach Ball, now that we have the new playoff format that comes out, I think in 2024, a 12-team playoff format, now it gets more exciting. So people can start complaining about, oh, there's only 4 teams. You have 3 teams from the SEC and another team from the ACC, and it's not fair, and blah, blah, blah. And the whole Alabama didn't get in because they lost 2 games by final possession, but then you put somebody like TCU in, they were okay, but they got thrown out by Georgia. So it's all about politics.
Man, you just absolutely annihilated that segment. Holy cow. Lambo, welcome back. Welcome back. Man, you have been doing your homework for sure. One thing I haven't heard a lot about much is on the Clemson tip. Is Clemson, are they on the way down? Are they balanced out? Is Florida State, are they gonna reign that ACC? It seems like from what I'm hearing, being in the state of Florida, we talk a lot about the Hurricanes and we talk a whole lot about Florida State. We haven't been talking a whole lot about Florida. There's a lot of question marks there at Florida, but it seems like things are trending up for both Florida State, especially. But I like how things are going in Miami. They just got to build a fence around that area, man. That Miami area, you build a fence around there. You don't let nobody steal those players. You get the best talent in the world.
Well, to answer your question about Clemson, you got Clemson new quarterback in Cade Klubnik after DJ Uiagalelei transferred to Oregon State. So you also got the offensive coordinator from TCU that went to the national championship in Garrett Riley, who is Lincoln Riley's brother. We'll see how Clemson does. You have a new quarterback. I'm not saying they're going to struggle, but it's going to be, I wouldn't say a new offense, but it's a new understanding. Cade Klubnik and Garrett Riley, they have to understand each other. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a first-year starting quarterback, and you're talking about an OC and Garrett Riley, who coached Max Duggan, who was a Heisman candidate. So we'll see how that goes. I think Clemson will be fine, but I don't see them in the top 5 because their losses last year were to Tennessee. They lost to a third-string quarterback in Joe Milton, which we didn't see coming. I don't know how you lose to a third. It's not about being a third-string quarterback. The way you lost was terrible. With the special teams being bad that game in the Orange Bowl and whatnot, it was terrible. Then you lose to South Carolina, and then you lost to Notre Dame when Notre Dame completely just put a whooping on them. So Clemson's going to get to a point mid-season. They're going to be undefeated, but around game 9 or game 10, when you play Notre Dame or South Carolina or somebody towards the end, I think they might have Florida State on their schedule. They're probably going to somewhat maybe underestimate that team, and they're going to lose. So as far as Clemson, they'll make it to the top 12 next year when the new playoff format comes, but I don't see Clemson as a top 14. I think top 14 is probably going to be Georgia, Alabama, Michigan. Michigan has been really consistent despite getting blown out. And then the 4th team will probably be Um, I might put Tennessee up there. I mean, Tennessee surprised a lot of people. They surprised you talk about third, fourth year head coach and Josh Heupel. So, I mean, they beat Alabama. Um, they had some very good wins. Their only losses were to Georgia and South Carolina. I mean, Tennessee's a very good team. I mean, Josh Heupel's brought that Tennessee atmosphere back. So those are going to be my top four teams that get into the college playoff. Now, somebody else may slip under there, but as of right now, I'm very solely high on those four teams that I mentioned. And for me being a Clemson fan, I'm just going to be honest. I don't see Clemson being a top four team. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm interested also in seeing, what happens with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, they probably have the best wide receiver that we've seen in several years with Harrison there. But you're going to have a new quarterback getting in the rock. So it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. And I just love how much fresh air has been put into that rivalry with those guys and Michigan. I know my man Matt Davis is a huge Michigan fan. He's watching us. Good morning, Matt. Friday, the grind includes. You already know, brother. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. They're at the University of Ohio State and see how those guys. The recruiting wise, it just seems like those guys get the pick of the litter every single year. But what's happened with them in Michigan here, that gap has gotten very, very tight. And with the NIL deals and guys jumping ship, man, you never know what's going to happen. Another team that has created quite a buzz has been exactly who you spoke on is what Coach Beamer is doing there in South Carolina, man. That's been creating quite a buzz. So those are two teams that I look forward to seeing. What's going to happen with them because there's some hype with both of them. Every year it's always Ohio State. But now seeing South Carolina getting some love, they finished the season, very high, and that quarterback, man, he could be the best player on the team, and then he can turn around and be the worst player on the team. So it's going to be interesting to see how consistent those guys can be coming into this season and everything. But man, I'm so excited about that new playoff, and then the next year when you have Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC, man, that's going to be it's going to be a phenomenal thing, man. That's why we watch sports, man. It's awesome to be able to get stuff like this. What else has been going on with you, man? I know we got the All-Star break here for baseball. I think our Rays got swept last night by Philly. Uh, do you keep your eye on much baseball?
I keep my eye on baseball when it hits the World Series because baseball it's a very long season for baseball. Baseball is 162 games, and nobody really tunes into 162 games. It's the same way with the NBA. Like I don't watch all 82 games in the NBA. Mainly once football season's over for the NFL, then I tune into the NBA. Then I tune into college basketball. But I really don't pay attention to baseball until the World Series, the playoffs, where it gets interesting along the lines because teams, you have 162 games, and nobody is going to win 162 games straight. And you're gonna have these losing streaks where MLB teams they're gonna sit there and lose for 2 weeks straight and whatnot. For me, being a somewhat baseball fan, I like the Red Sox, but they've been consistent, inconsistent. And I think they missed the playoffs last year. The year before they made the playoffs. And they've been up and down since the whole Terry Francona era and David Ortiz era, and they just been up and down. I mean, they had the Red Sox had won a World Series since 2018, so it's been a while, and then now you have all these some of these MLB players. You know, they got to take steroids and all these other stuff. It's a very long season for those guys. So if you're playing in the MLB, you're playing baseball. That's a grind. That's a huge grind that you have to be consistent on. Aaron Judge, he got his money, he got his deal. I do focus in on Aaron Judge, but the question is, I mean, are you going to live up to the expectations? Because we talk about that in other sports where we see guys signing huge contracts and they don't live up to the expectations. So the question is, Aaron Judge is a good baseball player, but will they live up to the expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing I think that's kind of hurting the game right now. You got some major stars. He hasn't played, I don't think, since June. You just had Stout go down, a Tiny. It hurts the game, and it's just I don't know if these guys are just working out too hard in the off season, or they're not pushing each other, or they're not pushing themselves. During the season to get through some of this stuff. I just think some of those old school players, they were just going to play no matter what, whether they got to tape their leg up, tape their wrist up. Those guys were just going to play. I don't know. I guess it's just different times, but it's strange to see all these guys getting hurt with, not the most catastrophic injuries. If it's a Tommy John injury, I understand. But, if you got a hangnail, man, you got to get yourself in the game. You know what I mean? You got to get in there and make that impact. I just also noticed that the big fella Wembley, what is it, Wembley, for
You talking about?
San
Oh,
Antonio Spurs. He makes his debut tonight
yeah. So I
in
think
summer
yeah,
league.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. So he was I think drafted by the San Antonio Spurs. I think he was number one and number two overall.
Yeah,
He
big
got a
fella.
little he got a little incident yesterday. I think Britney Spears pushed him behind his back. He got security guarding him and whatnot. I mean, he had a little incident. He's a young guy. He got to be careful. There's a lot of hype surrounding this guy, like he's going to be the next, I don't know, Tim Duncan,
Yeah,
David Robinson, and whatnot. Summer league, summer league's not really my thing because you could play good in summer league. I want to see how good you can play in the regular season and in the playoffs because summer league is just you play for about 2 weeks and then you play a championship. Like you got to be. I want to see how good he really is in the NBA, not summer league. We see Lonzo Ball good. Oh, I'm good. Good in the summer league. What's Lonzo Ball doing? Lonzo Ball is an average player, and he hasn't played in 2 years because of his knee injury. Like he hasn't played almost 3 years. So with Wemby, he has size, but he's skinny. He's
right.
just too skinny. We need to put some meat on that boy because he's like Chet Holloman from he's like Chet who plays for OKC. He needs to put a little muscle on him. And nowadays, these guys, if they come in so tall and skinny like Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant's a top 5 player, but Kevin Durant has serious leg injuries because he's too skinny. So you got to put some meat on these guys. I mean, the weight room is key. But for Wemby, I'm not really sold on how good he is until he plays the Golden State Warriors, until he plays the Denver Nuggets, until he plays the Lakers. I'm not sure how good the San Antonio Spurs are going to be. The San Antonio Spurs fell off since Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Danny Green left, and Kawhi Leonard went to the Raptors, and then with the Clippers. They haven't been the same team. Greg Popovich is still one of the best coaches, but I think the San Antonio Spurs had like 4 straight losing seasons. So you
Yeah,
don't expect the Spurs to do much because the Western Conference is stacked. The
it's
Western
it
Conference
is.
is stacked. So I don't see the San Antonio Spurs doing anything.
Yeah, I definitely. It's going to be interesting to see how Pop bring him along and how they make things happen with him. They've got one or two young players too that that are on the come up. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Pops does with those guys and if they just throw them in the ring. Throw them right to the fire. But I totally agree, man. You got to put some size when you've got a body like that. There's no way you're going to last, the 82 games or even 50 games, at that size, and, being 7'3", but barely 200 pounds, what is your position? Are you like a wing guy? Who are you guarding on defense? You know what I mean? To me,
You
it seems
got
like
well
you're gonna be,
with that what you said, Coach Ball, with that size, you gonna have to guard somebody like Anthony Davis. You gonna have to. So I mean,
yeah.
he's too skinny. The man is too skinny. So I'm not sure what he's gonna do. He needs to put some muscle in the man. It's gonna take him about 2 years to really get big with broad shoulders and whatnot. But we're gonna see how that goes with Wimby. So
Yeah, man, without a doubt. 1 second here. All right. I'm going to bring him in here, guys.
What's up, y'all?
There he is. There's my man, Chris Says. Chris Says, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning. I got
Hey.
Lambo here with me.
What's up, Coach Ball? What's up, Lambo? How's it going this morning?
Oh, man, doing great. Doing great. Sweating it out here. What's going on with you, Chris? Let us hear all about it.
Not much, man. Happy Friday to both of you. Happy Friday to Totem Pole Nation. Just wanted to say, hey, pop in here and just jump in and experience Totem Pole Nation, man. I love the vibe. I was here a while back, a couple weeks ago, and just couldn't get enough of it, so I'm back again.
Oh man, good. Great to have you back. I'm kind of in recovery mode, man. I did an Alaskan trip. We hit Seattle up, hit up Canada, just had a blast. And then, come back here and we had a Totem Pole Nation party here. We had Miss Sarah Blake Cheek in house, and we got to test out her moonshine and everything. So yeah, man, my check liver light might still be flashing a little bit, but yeah, I am. I'm starting to feel a lot better. I've got my workouts dialed in and everything, and just trying to feel like I'm not on that boat anymore, man. You get boat legs sometimes when you're out there for that many days. You still feel like you're swerving, and when you're, in the bathroom, like leaning against the wall and stuff. So, but yeah, man, what's been good with you? Talk to us.
Yeah, man. I just was hopping in here because like I said, I saw what you guys have been doing. Like I said, I know you went on that vacation. I wanted to pop in and check on that. I saw the party, the 4th of July party stuff, and I'm like, man, next time you got to invite me, Coach.
You're in. Yeah, man. You're in.
Appreciate it, boss. And I saw we saw Sarah Blake. Sarah Blake, she's first lady of the Totem Pole Nation, right? What we're saying.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. Like, she is just so beautiful and so nice, man. Yep. And when she says, hey, y'all, and smiles, I mean, it's like, whatever you want. Whatever you want. Yes, ma'am. Like, it brings a smile to you. Like, you cannot have a poker face when she looks at you and says, hey, y'all, and smiles. It's just like, the poker face is broken. But yeah, man, I'm just so proud of what she's got going on. She's got her magazines coming out. I believe it's going to be released next week. I believe it's going to be the 15th or the 14th. So yeah, man, I'm definitely going to go grab as many copies as possible. Yeah, that shoot was actually done here in the backyard, man. It was done here in the backyard. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Totem Pole headquarters? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cool. So yeah, it was.
Love that. It
was good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to promote that. Again, I want to help promote Totem Pole Nation as much as possible. I love the hat that Lambo's wearing. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of jealous of the swag you got going.
Man, we got to get you that, and it would. We wouldn't even know Miss Sarah Blake Cheek if it wasn't for Lambo. He's the one that pulled the trigger on that and made that happen. Tell us all about that, Lambo.
Tell us, man. I want to hear more.
Well, I mean, so when we first started Totem Pole, we started Totem Pole August 3rd. I mean, not August 3rd, October 3rd, 2022. So I think I was in football season with Coach Taylor, so I was just looking around, trying to get people on the show, get some guests in. I had a couple guests. I DM'd her on Instagram. This is, Playboy model, actress, whatnot. And you don't think you'll get a response out of it. Then I got a response, and then we got I got the first interview with me and Coach Old School, and then Coach Taylor and everybody else. Coach Ball got the second interview, so that's what happened. I think she's a queen of SEC. She's very good with football. She's a very nice person. So and she doesn't have an ego. You know what I'm saying? She's not like one of those females where, oh, it's got to be ESPN or whatnot. You know, she accepted the invite, and that was about it. There ain't really too much to it. It's more like a yes, out of shock and surprise. But you take 100% of the shots you don't take. So I took the shot, and then it went in. So
you had to shoot your shot, and you did it, and you made it, Lambo. You can't really. I mean, that's the kind of courage and boldness that we need more of in this world, man. I mean, like, I'm sure you were super respectful and just wanted to reach out and connect, right? And it was probably a nice, refreshing difference compared to what you probably get most often on Instagram, right? So you shot, you went and you decided to shoot your shot, and it went well, man. And that's we could all learn from what you did, right? I mean, you didn't shy away from it. It takes a little bit of courage. And I appreciate you doing that, man. And again, like what Coach Ball was saying. I mean, he says hi to you and smiles at you. You're like, okay, what do you want? Like, you can have whatever you want. Here's the keys to my car. Take
my wallet.
Whatever you want, it's yours. So I think it's a good teammate on the Totem Pole Nation. Lois, the woman on the Totem Pole. I mean, I saw the promo she did a couple days ago on the 4th, and I mean, I'm sold, man. I mean, we need to get more people joining us here in Totem Pole Nation, because I think we have a really great thing going. And again, I really came on here just to say that I'm super excited to be part of the team. Appreciate Coach Bald out of me in the first place. And he shot, he said to shoot a shot too with me, and said, hey man, do you want to jump on in here, be a part of our podcast or show? You jump on in, do a run in. And I'm like, at first I didn't know what it was, right? And then I did my homework, did my research. I'm like, man, like I love this. I love everything about it. Coach Troy Taylor. I mean, like he was there too, and we had a great time, man. It was a fun experience, and once I learned more about what we're all about, I was like, man, I'm in, I'm bought in, and just again came on here today to say, I want to do more. I want to help out as much as I can, and I want to be a part of the future.
Oh man, I love that. And let me tell you something else that I love, and I know Lambo loves, and we'd love to hear the story, but we love pro wrestling. We have the SCM, the Squared Circle Maniacs. These guys are our encyclopedias. These guys have forgotten more wrestling than we'll ever know. But tell us about your boy, Chris Masters. And has he thrown you in the master lock before?
Yeah, here's the thing, man. I don't know if Lambo knows the story, but I grew up with him when he was younger, when he was in his teenage years. He grew up in LA, outside of Culver City area in Los Angeles, and I grew up in the South Bay area of Los Angeles. I don't know if you know much about Long Beach, that part of Southern California, but we grew up maybe about 10, 15 miles from each other as the crow flies. And we met up and I don't know if he wants me to share this, but I'll share it because we're cool like that. But we were part of this backyard wrestling group back in the late 90s, and I met him when he was in his late teens. I was in my late teens. We're almost the same age, and he was uber talented in his teenage years, man. I mean, if you think about like, people say like if somebody has the talent, whether it's an actor, a pro wrestler, pretty early on if this person has the it factor. The man had it. I mean, at a young age. He just needed to refine his craft, right? He needed to focus on giving a little more polish to what he did. But I'm telling you, man, like he had the talent, and I'm super excited to see that he actually even made it big. We kind of stopped communicating in like the early 2000s. We kind of fell out of contact from one another for about maybe 5-7 years, and all of a sudden I flip on the TV, maybe 2006, 2007. I see this really bulked up dude, and I'm like, I recognize that guy. He was a huge fan of Triple H. It's something that most people don't know. Wow. Yeah, I mean, he emulated his style after Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he everything that he did when he was in his late teens in the backyard wrestling promotion. He had super long hair. He kind of looked like him. If you think about if you shrunk Masters down a little bit, and you looked at kind of his facial features and kind of you could pull off a Hunter Hearst Helmsley if you really thought about if you had to kind of model him after somebody. He kind of really did look like him. And so yeah, man, he was great. I mean, he was great to wrestle. Even in backyard wrestling style, he had something kind of special. He could sell. He could lay it in if you needed to lay it in to make it look really good. Because we used to have this, we used to film these things, man. We used to film our matches, and we played,
Yes.
later. We do it like Saturday morning. We, instead of watching Saturday morning cartoons, man, we'd be out there, beating each other to smithereens, and then about like we go to McDonald's afterward, recuperate a little bit, and then go to one of our friends' houses and watch it on VHS, man. We have those big kind of camcorder things, and see kind of how it turned out. But yeah, we were big into it for a while. And Chris Masters, man, I mean, like before he became Chris Masters is kind of when I knew him. He never really put me in that, but I'm telling you, man, he did a really good armbar. Let me tell you, like there was a period there where he put me in an armbar. I'm like, dude, like you're not supposed to even know how to do that. You're like you're barely an adult. This dude's pulling off an armbar. I mean, like, man, this kind of it hurts.
Oh, amen, man, amen. And that's so cool because that reminds me, like when I was growing up, I grew up in like this really crappy apartment complex on the south side of Richmond called Parkley Apartments. And Chris, there would be mattresses where people would get evicted. And it was so bad where they would only evict them if they were just like the worst tenants ever. Like, I don't even think it was whatever you could afford, you lived there. But people that were in gangs and fights and stuff like that, they would evict them. There would be these mattresses out there by the big trash cans. We would climb up on the trash cans, jump on these mattresses. Who knows what kind of infested stuff was on these mattresses, just like probably the nastiest stuff you could imagine. I think it might be the only reason I've never caught COVID, actually, is because I was playing on those mattresses and drinking from those nasty garden hoses.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, that's cool though that you did something similar. I think everyone as a kid, at least if they're wrestling fans, they kind of aspire to be a pro wrestler. Or at least they think about it, they consider it, right? Maybe not every single person, but most, I would say. As you're growing up, and especially if you grew up in that like we'll say like the late 80s to late 90s era, that decade, right? Where you think about when WrestleMania started to kind of grow in popularity. You had, WrestleMania 3 at the Pontiac Silverdome.
Oh, man.
That growth from there into the era of the Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart rivalry, late 90s era. I mean, you had a lot of stuff going on there where it just grew in popularity. If you were a kid growing up in that time period, man, why wouldn't you think that you could do it? Why wouldn't you want to be something like that? That was under the bright lights. That especially if you had like an inch of just a small amount of talent. If you thought you could do it, there were wrestling schools popping up left and right as I was growing up. I mean, all over the neighborhood because people thought they could do it and they wanted to join it. Some of these places still exist, or they existed for a while. UPW was an organization in California. Another one was, you think about like the origins of the prototype in John Cena. He started off in a promotion in Southern California. The same with Christopher Daniels. I got to see him in a really, really young age, right? I got to see him wrestle with some of these indie shows, and even saw the whether for good or for bad, I got to see the formation of XPW. If you think about that promotion and kind of how it originated in Southern California, that also was a controversial organization that popped up out of nowhere, and it had these older ECW wrestlers. They had Big Dick Dudley, right? Was kind of like the big face of the organization for a while because they were trying to pull people in from the East Coast. It was almost like an ECW West.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of really cool organizations that popped up, or that at least were kind of blossoming. And again, if you were exposed to that sort of thing, you at least had to take a chance. And so I'm glad that Chris Masters, got his time, and he's still doing it, and he's still wrestling today. I mean, I've communicated with him in DM and on Twitter because there some of those videos that we took are out there on YouTube. Yeah, man, they exist.
Wow.
And, yeah, man, you could see the origins and I don't like to share the link to them because again, unless somebody wants to see it, right? If somebody wants you to see it, right? If Master said to me, like I want other people to see this, or even Scorpio Sky, right? I mean, AEW. He also was part of that organization that I was with as well, and there's footage of him early on. I mean, the guy, like, he knew how to sell. He knew how to really pull it all together. And so, yeah, man, just there's so much that, it's so much going on back then that I thought I could do it for a while, but I was like, man, I don't want to be part. Like, you could get hurt real bad in some of those wrestling matches back in backyards, man. I don't know if you've,
Man, you're definitely not lying about that. And quick question, guys, raise your hand if you've ever razor edged somebody in the swimming pool. If you've ever you've never razor edged anybody in the
come on,
pool.
Lambo.
No, I have not. I'm
Man,
I'm very honest person.
You posted
we're gonna need
video, right, Coach?
next time you're at a swimming pool, we're gonna need that to knock that off the list, man. Razor's edge somebody in the pool, there's no better feeling.
Check that off your bucket list, Lambo. You need to do it immediately.
But yeah, I know, Lambo, you're a huge Cena fan, correct?
Yeah, so I've watched John Cena, I think, like early, I say 2010, 2011. I say he's my favorite wrestler. He's the greatest of all time. Not just his championships, but the consistency in his character and whatnot. He stayed true to his character for 20 years. He doesn't wrestle as much anymore. He's more of an actor now. He came back into Money in the Bank to try to promote WrestleMania possibly being in London next year. So he's older. He came out with like certain interviews where, you know, he's not going to wrestle as much. He's 45, so he has no need to wrestle. Right now, you have Roman Reigns being the best right now. He hasn't lost in 3 years until Money in the Bank. That's his first loss since Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is garbage. He's in NXT now.
Wow, yeah.
Roman Reigns is lost, and I think a special episode tonight. I won't be watching it, but I think, you know, the tribal chief court and whatnot, because the Usos, the whole bloodline is broken up. They already broken up. It's done. So Roman Reigns still has 2 titles. We'll see if he defends them in SummerSlam against, you know, whoever. There's a possibility rumor that he might go against Jey Uso again, or if not, you know, Seth Rollins has the World Heavyweight Championship to do with, released by Triple H. So, I mean, I think Seth Rollins' one will probably be more interesting to watch because he's defended the title so many times. Roman Reigns, he'll defend it what he wants to, but it's all about scheduling and whatnot. I mean, we'll see about that. But I mean, going back to the whole John Cena thing, I mean, he won't retire from WWE anytime soon, but you're just not going to see him as much because, you know, he's acting, he's doing what The Rock did. And the reason why I go back to that is because when they had their rivalry for 2 years, he criticized him for, you left the WWE to go act, and he's doing the same thing now. He realized he was wrong, but those matches were my favorite matches. He should have beat him twice, but he lost the one in 2012, and then 2013 he came back and he rebalanced. And I think 2013 and 2014 was like his best years. As far as WWE wise, but I mean, he's been consistent with his character. He's honest. He has the #1 movie out right now in Fast X. I mean, I don't know how many Fast and Furious movies they make, but they make about $850 billion on it. So you might as well go ahead and keep making the movies.
Yeah, I'll take a fraction of that any day, Lambo.
Yeah, so I mean that's what it is. And then I think I peeped the Heart to Heart with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart interviewed John Cena, so you know he's getting interviews and you know telling people his advice and whatnot. But you're going to see John Cena more in movies. You're not going to see him too much in WWE. The Money in the Bank return was a surprise. Nobody saw it coming, so I guess his returns are going to be surprises now, like he did 2021 in Money in the Bank, where he faced Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. So is it nice having John Cena back from time to time in WWE? Yes. WWE hasn't been the same since COVID. You know, you're performing with no fans. But at the same time, do I want to see John Cena winning that championship? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? No. What's the purpose of it? He can't wrestle like he used to. His body ain't used to doing all that no more either. So, and now when you're acting, you can't really get hurt. So we'll see how that goes.
Man, you nailed it. Absolutely. So yeah, Chris, the life lesson of today is trust yourself. You've survived a lot and you'll survive whatever is coming. what message do you want to send out there to everybody at Totem Pole Nation that's watching that you think of when you hear that?
Yeah, man. It's all about integrity, Coach Baldwin. I'm hearing you say that. To me, it's doing the right thing when no one else is looking. When I hear you say that, I think about it's one of the first or one of the core values of the Air Force. Actually, is integrity first, and it's the first core value, right? And it's like trust. In yourself, like you said, and really do the right thing when no one else is looking. When I hear you say that, my first instinct is it's all about you're not going to know maybe not everything that you need to do, but trust that you're doing the right thing, right? And go forth in the world with the understanding that you're trying your best and everyone else is trying their best in this crazy hectic world right now, and you just have to go forth with a positive attitude toward it, right? And give your energy to the world in a way that's going to ultimately add value to others, not just yourself. So yeah, man, it's to me, I think about that. I think about immediately when I hear that, it's like how do you really bring that to the table, right? How do you go about and face the world, right? How are you facing the world? How are you kind of bringing your core self to the world? And man, it's just doing the right thing when no one else is looking. I mean, even when no one else is looking. I mean, you do it when people are looking, sure, but also like, it's sometimes harder to really, in the middle of something like you think like, no one's going to care if I kind of, cut corners here. Actually, people do care, and there are people that are depending on you, depending on me, depending on Lambo. I mean, like it's just people depend on us, and we just have to make sure that we are focusing on the greater good, right? And how do we really tackle some of these more challenging things, man? It's just go forth with that mindset that you got to just keep that integrity first and foremost.
Amen. Coach Lambo, what do you got for me?
Well, I mean, trusting yourself is more like Chris said, integrity, but also it's about being consistent as a human being. We all tend to slack at times. There's always going to be days where we don't feel like doing anything, but at the same time, we live in a real world where nobody cares. I mean, you can sit here and you go through stuff. That's fine. We're not criticizing you for the stuff that you go through, but you can't do things like call out of work and whatnot because bills still have to be paid regardless of what you go through. So the more fact of trusting yourself in this life lessons is just basically take your day. If you had to take your day hour by hour, then take it hour by hour. If you had to take it, 2 hours at a time, 24 hours at a time, take it, day by day, that's fine. The goal is to not rush your day. The goal is to try to be productive and get things done and be, consistent because like I said, everybody talks about being loyal and all this other stuff, but we're more in the world today where actions speak louder than words. You could talk all this talk, you talk all you want to talk. The talking nowadays doesn't phase me. The actions and the things that you do phase me better because you have to show me. It's basically like showing me proof that you have to do this. Not saying that it has to be in front of particular people or have to be in front of everybody, but the farthest way to be consistent is to, do without talking. Like walk like when you say you're gonna do something, just do it. You don't have to talk about I did it. Just do it. It's the same thing where you're teaching your kids do your chores, have a job, pay your bills, take a shower, clean the bathroom. I mean, it's called discipline. So in this generation today, we need more discipline. It's all about discipline. Our discipline is lacking, it's pretty bad. I don't know if we can change it. I'm not saying go ahead and change it around 100 million people because, if you can do something 1/10 for a person, or if you want to change somebody's life, you can do 1 out of 10, you're making progress. It's going to be kind of hard to do 100 out of 100 because, it's that mindset, it's that process and whatnot. But I think at the end of the day, for trusting yourself, don't worry about other people. You have to just do what you have to do first, and then you go to the next step. So it's all about taking baby steps. And I think nowadays we don't want to take the baby steps anymore. We just want to we want to, we don't want to start from the bottom no more. We just want to get to the Great Wall of China without taking the walk. We just need to fly up there. That's not how it works. It took forever for the people to build a Great Wall in China. What about the pyramids in Egypt? That took time. That took years. It's about being patient. We don't want to be patient no more. We just want to just go up there and say, hey, I want to be successful. I want to be up here. It's not how it works, especially in totem pole. We didn't get to this many subscribers. We started from the bottom. We're the low man on totem pole for a reason. We started from the bottom, and then we came up. But at the same time, we can't be comfortable because we had 102K subscribers. That's nothing. That's nothing. I'm not even talking. I'm not trying to talk numbers. I'm not trying to talk nothing. But I'm just talking about the steps that has to be done. You just can't go from here and then I want to say, oh, I want to reach the moon from the chair I'm sitting at. It's not how it works. I gotta take the steps and take the process, and then I go up to the top. That's how it works.
Boom.
Love that. Love that.
Amen. 8-minute abs. I'm not going to be doing 8-minute abs after this podcast. I can promise you guys that. But yeah, man, trust yourself. You've survived a lot and you will survive whatever's coming to you. And what that kind of means to me is, to get better, you've got to do difficult things, on a daily basis. The first thing I do every morning is take a shot of apple cider vinegar. And I mean, it tastes terrible, but what it does for my stomach, for my insides, for my body and mind, it does a lot. I get in a sauna every day, 20 minutes, sweating like a hostage. It feels terrible, but when I get out of the car and it's 95 degrees, it feels like the air conditioner's on and it's amazing. It's tough, but you're going to have to do tough things and be used to them to grow and get better. And yeah, man, I appreciate both of you guys. This show has been phenomenal. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Cultivate Wellness. Check out the website. Plenty of amazing products there. And huge shout out to St. Pete Rejuvenate. We are changing lives over there as well with our weight loss, with our ketamine infusions. You don't have to suffer from that chronic pain or that depression or that anxiety. Ketamine infusions have been a complete game changer for us. Check out the website or give us a phone call. We'll be there for you. And yeah, Chris, I'm going to hang up. I'm going to end this, but I definitely want you and Lambo to stay on for a little bit and we'll chop it up. But thank you guys, Totem Pole Nation, to the next episode. Please like us, subscribe us, go follow us. We're all over the place. Thank you guys and have a blessed one to the next episode.